All right, what's up? Back with another shoe review or versus shoe review, and this one was fun because it's brand against brand. The Toppo Ultra Venture 4 versus the Ultra Experience Wild. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you why I'm actually going to pick the Ultra Venture 4, even though I like running more in the Ultra Wild. And I did put a ton of miles in both of these shoes. Both shoes have about, I'd say, above 300 miles in both of them. And I have run 50Ks in both the Ultra Wild and the Ultra Venture 4 in a race experience, and also took them out to my local mountains and put 7 or 8 hour day in both of them through super technical terrain. A lot of hiking, getting ready for the Mugian Monster 100 that I'm training for right now. So this is really, coming down to the shoe I'm picking for that race. So the differences, like obvious differences between stack height, the durability, the grip, what they use for their outsoles and stuff like that. Sizing, should you go up a size? Are they true to size or down a size? And how they feel on the trail, because I think that's like the meat of this video, how they actually feel on my feet in a race experience and a hiking experience and walking too. And then ultimately why I picked the Ultra Venture 4 over the Ultra, even though I like running in this a lot more. And again, if you're new here, my name is Eric. I'm a UESCA Ultra Running Certified Coach, and I make these videos primarily for you to help you with feedback before you make a purchase, especially when we're doing like a brand comparison like this, because I know a lot of people go back and forth when choosing a shoe. And then ultimately for my athletes that I get to work with. And if you want to join the My Endurance Life team, you can start just by downloading our training plans, anywhere from a 25K all the way to a 100 miler. You can get those in the link in the comments below or in the description below, or go to myendurancelife.com and download the training guides. Again, we have everything from a 25K to a 100 miler, and chances are you're training for a race, so those will probably help you. So let's go over the upfront differences first. Obviously, the Ultra Venture 4 has a 5mm drop, where the Ultra Experience has a 4mm drop. One of the things that I first noticed when I put these on my feet when getting ready to make this video, like when I was wrapping my head about comparing them, there's nothing really exciting as far as the running experience goes when I was wearing the Ultra Venture 4. They were just super comfortable, but they don't excel in like one certain area. So it's like they're not a good, like obviously not a good road shoe. As far as like running fast on a trail, they're not going to give you any apparent like feedback where I was feeling in the Ultras, but they just felt really, really comfortable though. Kind of just like I knew they were going to last all day long, and I'd be comfortable in them all day long. There is more cushion in these compared to the Ultras. They have 35mm of cushion in the heel, and with the 5mm drop, there's 28 in the forefoot, which you can actually tell on the trail. They are a little heavier according to, I put all the nitty gritty stuff about each shoe in the description below. So if you want to go through and really do a side by side comparison, it's all down in the description below, like the weight, the stack height, all that other stuff. But I'm just going to tell you primarily what I feel, because I think that's more important than all that other stuff. Anyways, they do feel just a little bit heavier compared to the Ultra, and maybe that could be just like the return on the feedback it's giving me when I'm running. Again, like they just feel like a really good, well cushioned shoe, not like a racing shoe if you're looking for a racing shoe. And also the grip's not as good. I'll hold it up to the screen, and you can see that even though they do use Vibram, which is really, really good, that just because of the depth of the lug, and you can see like these are almost worn out. Again, I do have close to 400 miles in these shoes, which is a good indicator about the resilience, that these do seem to last a little bit longer. The only delamination I have is in the toe, and that could be me just out tripping on rocks and roots and stuff and pulling it away. But overall, they've held up really, really good compared to the Ultras, which I'm going to talk about next. And I'm not alluding to that the Ultras were made poorly in any way. I really think that the Ultra Wilds are a really, really well-built shoe. It just feels to me that the durability compared to the Toppo Ultra Venture 4s is a little bit lacking. Like they wore out just a little bit faster. Again, I do have about 300 miles on these shoes, so not as much as the Ultra Ventures, but I feel like these are wearing out already, just mainly in the cushion, in the midsole. The grip on them is really, really good, but let's get back to that in a minute. major difference between this is a 4 millimeter drop compared to the 5 millimeter drop, which I could tell. It doesn't sound like a lot, like 1 millimeter is barely anything. But I also think that I got used to running in ultras a long time ago before I switched to topos, and really loved their zero drop. Ran in the Lone Peaks and the Temps, and I was a super huge fan of the Temps until about the Temp 4 came out, and that's what made me switch to topos. And Topo from there became like one of my favorite brands in what I've run a couple 100-mile races in, and up until a buddy of mine started wearing these, I was like, okay, let's give Ultra another try with a 4 millimeter drop, because I was finding that I was liking the 5 millimeter drop that that Topo offered in their mountain racers and their Ultra Ventures. But the 4 millimeter drop felt perfect. Like, it made me want to run. They were a fun shoe to put on. I just couldn't. As soon as I put these on, I knew that I was going to have fun in them. Like, if you ever put a shoe on right out of the box, it just felt like made you want to run. These are them. And they're, yeah, like I said, they were just fun, and they do feel lighter, even though like the comparison is only within an like a point of an ounce or two, that they do feel lighter. Maybe it's because they have more return. They are a little bit stiffer shoe, which gives you more feedback when you're running. And then the grip, like maybe it's just gripping the ground a little bit better when I'm running uphill or something like that. One thing I did notice though when I was running, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, that in one of the 50Ks I was running, I had a twig go through the soft part of the outsole in between the tread. And it went through, and at the time I thought I was getting a blister because it was just poking through into into the liner inside. I'm drawing a blank on what you call that. But anyways, that I thought I was getting a blister, but it wasn't until I took my shoe off and looked at the bottom that there was a twig actually lodged in there, sticking into it. So maybe that's a concern for you. Maybe I just got lucky and stepped on the right twig that pinned itself in there. And luckily it was only about the last 10 miles of the race, so it didn't cause too much of an issue. But just looking at the shoe itself, it seems to be wearing a lot quicker too. Not only in the midsole, but the outsole around here. A lot of scuffing. Nothing that was going to cause me to trip or fall or anything like that, but just overall appearance, it looks like it's wearing a little bit quicker too. All right, let's talk about sizing. Both of these, I go up half a size. I wear a Vans size 9.5, and in the Ultra Venture 4, I wore a 10, and the Ultra Wild, I wore a 10 also. I love running downhill, and I hate the impact, or feeling the impact of my toes on the front of my feet when I'm running downhill. So it just gives you a little bit more room. As far as the toe box goes inside, I know a lot of us are here because we like the wide toe box. I do wear Injinji toe socks, so my feet and my toes do spread out a little bit more than as if I was wearing a regular toe that would keep them, or a sock that would keep them close together. So I feel like the Ultra Wild has a little bit, maybe not narrower toe box, but tighter toe box. So on top, it feels like it's a little bit snugger on top, keeping my toes down. Is this good or bad? It depends on what style of running you like. In these, I'm wearing them to run. I'm like, of course, I'm going to be jogging and hiking them too when I'm running an ultra. But on a fast trail race, like a 25K or below, where I can run the whole thing, I'd probably pick the Ultra Wilds over the Ultra Venture 4s, just because they are a lot more fun to run, and I feel like I'm faster in them, and they give me a better return. I think that tighter toe box really assists in like picking my feet up and getting it back under me to keep a quick cadence. The reason why I like the Ultra Venture for like longer races, 50K plus, is because it does have more room. I am going to be doing a lot more hiking. My feet are going to be swelling a lot more. And so I feel like I just have a lot more room to grow in these as the race progresses. So that's another reason why I'm picking these over, the Ultra Wilds for 50K and beyond. All right, let's talk about the hits and misses for the Ultra Venture 4 on the trail. Again, like I said, it doesn't excel in any one particular thing. It's not a fast shoe. You're not gonna put the shoe on and think I'm gonna get a PR in a 25K or a 50K. But as soon as you put it on, you're going to get the sense of feeling, or I think you're going to get the sense of feeling like, okay, this is a comfortable shoe. I can wear this all day long with no problems. And again, the grip is okay. I'm not going to say it's super, super good grip. Like the lugs aren't super deep, especially compared to the mountain racer or the pursuit. But I have worn this shoe in super technical terrain in loops that I do around our local mountains for training, where I'm doing a lot of hiking, a lot of loose gravel, technical terrain. And even though I do slip from time to time, I feel that I am confident enough in these to wear them in a 100-mile race. So that is another reason why I am picking them over uh, the Ultras, just because it's not a big enough takeaway to say, oh, I got to change shoes. They are great to hike in and walk in. And if you are running like a 50 mile or 100K or a 100 miler where walking is going to be part of your strategy, where it is part of mine, that especially in the later parts of the races, different shoes walk better. And I feel like because of the shape of the hill, I'll hold this up to the screen so you can see the comparison, that the Ultra Venture 4 has a little bit more flair compared to the Ultra Wild. And I think when it comes down to walking and hiking, it's a lot more comfortable to walk and hike in. Where in the after a long day in the mountains, I was ready to take the Ultra Wilds off. Like my feet were hurting. I was just ready to get them off. Whereas the Ultra Ventures, I felt like I could keep wearing them and like even drive home in them. But when I was racing a 50K, uh, the last 50K I wore these in, I was really glad I did, because I felt like my pickup and my stride was super quick, and they didn't feel heavy, especially in the later parts of the race. So I was glad I wore these in that race. But what race would I pick them in? Moving forward, I would pick the Toppo Ultra Venture 4s uh, over the Ultras for longer races, especially 50 mile, 100K, and 100 mile. Ultra Wild, where do they excel in? Well, number one, they are super, super fun to run in. And when I'm doing just like short training runs around, my local trails, my 6 mile run, my 8 mile run, like the everyday loops that I do, I love wearing these, especially if I want to, push the pace a little bit. This is the shoe I'm picking. The grip's great. So I actually trust these a little bit more in the mountains when it gets technical. I just wish that the padding didn't feel like it wore down as the hours progress. The longer the day, the more uncomfortable these shoes got. Up to about 6 hours, I was good. Past 6 hours, I started thinking like, noticing that I was wearing a shoe. So they're super stable and technical downhill. So if you love running downhills, and I would definitely give these shoes a shot. And again, they're fun right out of the box. So what race would I pick the Ultra Wilds in? I would pick these in a fast 50K and down. So a race that I know I'm going to be running a lot in, where I'm not going to be hiking, I would pick a 50K, something I could, finish in 6.5 hours or below. That's the race I'm going to pick these for. Well, we already know who the winner is going to be, but if you like videos like this, I encourage you to like, subscribe, join the My Endurance Life team, because I put out a lot of videos, gear review videos, and I can't wait to get my hands on the Ultra Wild 2s and the Mountain Racer 4s that Topo's coming out with. So Topo Ultra, if you're listening to this, I wouldn't be opposed to accepting, shoes to review, which also makes me note that I bought these shoes with my own money so far. Ultra or Topo hasn't given me anything, so this is my own review. It's not swayed by them at all. But who wouldn't want a pair of free shoes? So Topo Ultra, if you want me to review and give those two shoes a head-to-head, I'd love to do it. So since I'm focused on the next 100-mile race that I'm training for, just coming up in a couple of weeks now, that I am picking the Ultra Venture 4 for that race. I'm going to be wearing these in the Mugian Monster coming up in September. So if you want to follow along, make sure you subscribe, because I'll be doing a race recap and just more training videos on how I prepared myself using a run hike technique for this race. It has a lot of technical terrain. But again, so I picked the Ultra Venture 4 over the Ultra Wild, mainly due to comfort in the longer miles. I'm sacrificing grip compared to the Ultra Wild, which I think is a fair trade-off based with comfort. The last race that I ran, the last 100-mile race that I ran was the Stagecoach 100, where I wore the Topo Pursuit for about 75 miles. Then I switched into the Ultra Venture 3s at the time, and I could not wait to get my feet into the Ultra Ventures, just because I did a lot of training in them, and I wished, looking back, that I had ran the whole race in those shoes to begin with. That's why I'm going with the Ultra Venture 4s for my next 100-mile race. Again, thanks for watching this. Like, subscribe, join the My Endurance Life team. You can download the training guides in the description and the link below. Rethink possible, and be seeing you on the next review.